Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you're using right now. And love the graphics. Says I'm doing a show with Jack.
Oh, my word. Okay, that's all right. Well, that's a good way to kick things off. And it's also not Up Next or NXT. So, and this says I am John Pollock. There we go. Where we are. There we go. That's
Grew
okay.
a lot of hair if you were John Pollock.
Yeah.
But you got some flowy hair going like Jack. Jack's got a bit of the Jack Harlow hair, but you got more of like the Joe Hendry.
I got my my pre-vacation haircut on Friday. So, yeah, it's...
Oh, how did that go?
Well, I mean, you're looking at it. I think all right. I hope.
Well, this is your last show together, as you're going to be taking some time off in the next few weeks. But
yes.
Up next, we'll continue. Jack is going to join me from Post Wrestling. We're going to hang out with him in a little bit, actually, today, a little bit later. But and then in a few weekends, it is Stand and Deliver. And yes, the head honcho of Post Wrestling, John Pollock, will be joining me for the post show on Post Wrestling. So we will have a week or two where I'm gonna maybe try to do something for this feed with Poisonrana Live, but we have banked a ton of shows for our Patreon as well. So the shows will keep coming, even though Davie's away on a little vacate. But Poisonrana Lives to be determined, because I want to do something a bit closer to WrestleMania, but we shall see. Because with Stand and Deliver and then Easter that same weekend, I'll figure something out. But again, as always, follow the space as per usual, because we'll still have some stuff going on, and as well, the BDG will have a show, because Golden Graham, your roommate, our friend, will be joining me on the Patreon as well. And he wants to do some sort of martial arts movie review. So we haven't quite picked the movie, but I might put it up to a Facebook vote this week. So
nice.
For those people who like those kinds of movies, Graham's big into those. And I think that we'll have some fun over on the Patreon. So tons of shows going. The content never stops, and appreciate people for following and supporting.
Who knows as well? Maybe when I'm away, I know I'm going to be meeting up with Benno from Grapple at some point. And,
very nice.
The likelihood of one of us pulling out a phone and recording something quick is probably pretty strong. So maybe you'll hear from me while I'm away. But if you're a Patreon, as Braden said, we have banked a bunch of shows, so you'll be hearing from me anyway.
Excellent. Well, drop the frogs in the chat. I'm seeing some of our regular suspects out there. Appreciate, as always. We're recording this, as always, Sunday 2 p.m. live, and we're gonna try to get a quick show here, because as soon as we're done, we're gonna jet on over to Northern Crown Wrestling. So hey, if you're by chance listening to this and you're in the Toronto area, today 5 p.m. Northern Crown doing a show at Blood Brothers Brewery, and it's two things we love: Blood Bros sour beers and wrestling. And they put on a fun Sunday afternoon. So a great send-off for you before you head off tomorrow. So catch Northern Crown, give them a follow if you haven't checked them out as much as we have, because we have so much fun at these shows. So that's if you're wondering, hey, what's going on? We're trying to get out of here, and I'm spending too much time discussing it, but we got to shout them out. Support your indie wrestling wherever you're at. But yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely. They're a great crew. Have loved every show we've been to so far. Great setting to watch pro wrestling. And yeah, so super excited to squeeze it. I'm going to be like bookending my trip with pro wrestling. I'm leaving with Northern Crown and coming back to Dynasty. So would you look at that? A little wrestling Vietnamese sandwich, a little wrestling banh mi, if you will.
Ooh. Okay, so how long is that flight from Vietnam to Vancouver? Will a banh mi survive if you bring me one, or that will be rancid by the time it reaches? If there's meat in it, I think
I can try. I mean, it's probably going to be around 17 hours of travel.
No, okay.
So from when I buy it, maybe 20.
Let's not do that. Just,
I'd do it.
I know you would, but when we've done it with New York and Chicago, it's like that flight is not,
no.
Pizza and sandwiches make it. But yeah, I don't know. Bring me a container of pho.
Okay.
That's probably easier. You just put it in a jar, put it in your bag.
Yeah.
Please don't do that either, but I'd appreciate it. But your bag might, if you bring like a banh mi in your bag, I could only imagine like 17 hours of what that.
So I have family in Texas, and I remember once my auntie was like really missing like UK doner kebabs. So like shawarma, right? So my cousin, while he was home, got one, like wrapped it in like loads of foil, froze it, and then brought it back. So by the time it like got back to Texas, it was pretty much just defrosted and ready to eat, and then heated up again, and it was good.
Like we both brought some barbecue back from Terry Black's in Dallas.
And,
it survived. I feel like if it was another hour or two flight, it probably wouldn't have, but it did, and it was fine. So you can't bring food back.
I definitely I'm a bit of a maverick, I'm a bit of a daredevil when it comes to food, because best before is just a suggestion, right? Like I'm like, it smells okay, it looks okay, like whatever.
Sometimes
I'm definitely a little bit more, and sometimes at work as well. Like I don't get breaks at work. I just eat when I can. So you sometimes have a plate of food out for a few hours that you're picking at, which probably isn't the best, but I don't know. I seem okay most of the time.
That's debatable, I guess, but
most of the time.
Well, we still have lots of shows, and we still got some fun stuff. I'll get it out of the way. You mentioned you're going away for a few weeks, and then when you come back, you're flying from Vietnam to Vancouver, and then we are going to meet up for not only AEW Dynasty, but we're also going to be attending Mystery Wrestling for the first time for us in Vancouver. So anyone out there listening, if you're in the Vancouver area or you will be traveling for Dynasty weekend in April, reach out, because we would love to meet up. We'll probably be bar hopping that weekend and whatnot. So, and recommendations also, friends on the West Coast for bars and restaurants and stuff like that. Always appreciated. And I'll throw it out there too. I am also going to be attending the AEW Dynamite in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So a few people have reached out actually from Edmonton saying, hey, I heard you mention Edmonton. So also we'll throw that out there. If you know any good country bars, I'm looking at a few that I have my eyes on. So feel free, if you're out there listening. We always appreciate the listeners and love to meet you people in person. So look forward to that, because Dynasty, me and you, we're in Toronto, and we represent our country of Canada, but we've never really ventured out into the West Coast, and we've had a bunch of people in the past be like, you guys need to do something out there. And I'm kind of excited. And especially the whole, like, stop traveling to the US thing, which me and you, I guess, aren't the best at doing in the past little while, but going to Canada is like, Canada, good support. Go to Canadian cities instead.
Absolutely. It's a huge country, and there's so much I still haven't seen yet. So I'd have absolutely been. The original plan was we were both going to go to Edmonton, but like this trip was the only dates we could do. But yeah, I'd love to check out all of Canada at some point.
Canada. Well, let us know again if you are in those areas. And I'm trying to think of what else we got going on. We have a ton of shows. You're going to be away, but we have banked a What's Next, a retro NXT review. And then we've banked quite possibly the granddaddy of them all. WrestleMania 17 turns 25 years old on April 1st. So we will be releasing our review of WrestleMania 17, Rock Austin, TLC 2, Gimmick Battle Royal, Hardcore Triple Threat. We got it all. And we cover what some say is the best show ever when it comes to pro wrestling. So we took as long as the actual show to review this whole thing and give it justice. So these are for the real Poisonrana sickos, if you will, because this is a long one.
We go deep into this one. We go well over 3.5 hours with this show, but as I said, there's a lot to talk about with this. You had the sale of WCW to WWE, something similar could have happened a couple of years ago, and we'll be talking about that on today's show. Some fantastic matches in TLC 2. Obviously, the main event, Rock, Austin, Undertaker, Triple H. Even the hardcore title match gets a lot of love as well. A really fun show. I know it's one a lot of you are nostalgic about. In my opinion, the greatest WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a lot of fun, not only going through the show and reviewing it, but looking at, you know, what was going on around that time. You mentioned the sale of WCW to Vince, and then the box of WCW wrestlers, what could have been. Plus the Austin heel turn, like great discussions on, like, you know, what some call, including yourself, the series finale of the Attitude Era. Quite possibly, we have that discussion too. So it made for a great show, one of our biggest ones we've done in a long time. So that'll be out April 1st on our Patreon. So even though you're away, we have pre-banked this, and very looking forward to hearing your thoughts and on these shows, and yeah. Tons of good stuff over on the Patreon. We recently did our Leprechaun 6 review, where we went back to the hood, you know, featuring some great cinema of Leprechaun. We torture ourselves with these, but we have reviewed every Leprechaun for the last, I don't know, 6 St. Patrick's Day.
I guess so. Yeah.
So yeah, strap in for that. We've recently done a UK nostalgia trip where we looked at some 90s kids shows from the UK as selected by Cactus Chris. We look at Art Attack, Demon Headmaster, and some other fun stuff. And we got some fun comments and messages from this. People being like, hey, the nostalgia, I like it. So pretty cool to talk to some friends across the pond there. But we have tons of other shows. It's literally $5 to get these shows and everything else we've done in that back catalog of tons of best match evers, wrestling reviews, movies, and so much more. So $5 goes right to us, independent podcasters. And you want to buy us a beer, buy yourself some podcasts, and buy Davie some banh mi.
Absolutely. We also have a tier called our family members, formerly our world champions. I still call them world champions, but it's our top subscribers, and they get to pick things for us to talk about, but also they get access to behind the BDE. And we recorded a brand new behind the BDE this week for our world champion patrons. If you want to ever upgrade, you get to pick something for us to talk about, but you have access. It unlocks every behind the BDE we've ever done. And I think some of these are absolutely timeless.
And priceless, really. I mean,
yes.
We've definitely said some awful, funny, and great things on Behind the BDE, but we just recorded one just yesterday, and we talked a bit about Scream 7. We talked about Pokemon. We talked a bit about you're going on your trip, and we also talked about Buffy and Xander, rest in peace.
Yeah,
and that reboot. We talked a whole lot about a whole lot. But if you're into Pokemon, we spent a big chunk on nostalgia and original 151. Where are you at though? But yeah, Behind the BDE for all family members as well. If you're thinking of upgrade to become a family member, and then let us know. Pick some wrestling or a movie or whatever, and we'll review it and have you on.
Okay, Braden, speaking of upgrading,
yeah,
my flight to Vancouver tomorrow, 5 hours, 17 minutes. They've given me the middle seat.
Oh.
Do I upgrade for $46?
I mean, you're going to sit next to someone regardless, but you'd rather lean against like the window or something.
Either have a window or have an aisle, stretch the legs, you know.
I hate the aisle so much.
You do?
Like I'm a big dude. My elbows, I think of Wedding Singer with the elbows in the cart, but also like I know that I can pee before my flight and then usually hold it, depending on the flight, obviously. Whereas most people are like, oh, excuse me, I got to get up, please. I got to get up in this and that, and then, you know, ruin my sleep. So I always want the window, not only for the great view, but so I can sleep peacefully.
It's a difficult one because I do like to pee. I enjoy a good pee once in a while.
Yeah, who doesn't,
yeah. So, and I do like being able to stretch that leg out a little bit in the aisle, you know, when no one's walking down. So it's difficult. I don't really, the middle one sucks. The middle's the worst. So.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't like the middle because then I'll probably have to lean one way to sleep or something. Whereas we were talking about yesterday on the Behind the BD, sometimes I sleep like Shibata on these planes, just cross arms. And then they're like, you know what I hate though? I hate when like you're trying to sleep and like clearly if I'm asleep, I probably don't want like anything. I don't want to be bothered. But the last time someone tapped me on the shoulder, like, hey, do you want anything to like drink? I'm like, why would you wake me up? I finally got to
Okay,
bed.
but like sometimes I've like dozed off for like only 10 minutes, and in that 10 minutes I've missed the food or whatever, and I see
Then
everyone
push the
eating, and I'm
button.
like,
.com.
fuck. Yeah.
Well, you get what's the Vancouver flight? Do you get free drinks on that one or no? Not long enough.
No, it's Air Canada do now, don't they?
Okay, nice.
I think so.
Because they almost went on that strike, so they were worried.
Right. Okay. Fuck. Do I do it?
Chris Jones in the chat says you gotta upgrade. You don't want that metal seat.
Yeah. All right. Doing it.
Yeah.
Doing
upgrade. It. Why not? And then
why not?
And then go to the lounge. I also see hello.
Price gate handling fee now. Come on.
There's a fee for everything in life.
I've given you my money already. Fuck off.
Except this free feed right here, this free podcast. I see hello from the podcast for unappreciated wrestling fans, longtime listener. Hello there. Nice to see you in the chat. I see you.
Unappreciated wrestling fans.
We appreciate you. Okay. We appreciate you for being in the chat right now. It's kind of like not a crazy week, which is also pretty good if we're trying to not go crazy long today. Like we had Revolution last week, which was pretty big. Yeah, we're on the road to WrestleMania, but I feel like this week we talked about maybe Raw, which was like feels like ages ago, but was Monday. We talked on Tuesday about like stuff going on there, but feels like a pretty chill week this week for the world of wrestling. I say that, and then we're gonna finish the show and like some crazy news will break or something. But
yeah, like we had, we talked about Raw, we talked about Obafemi and Brock on Tuesdays Up Next. SmackDown, more just kind of furthering some stories already, getting a bit more out of the Orton story. Still no indication who was on the phone. Obviously, he killed Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona shouldn't have trusted him in the first place. Come on. But yeah, I think I'm actually on paper, I think this WrestleMania card is starting to come together, and I think there's some attractive matches on there, and on paper I'm thinking it's looking like a solid card, and we know a lot of these performers do step up at WrestleMania, and they're normally pretty enjoyable shows. So I'm starting to feel more confident. I think this could be a better WrestleMania than last year's. You know, last year all I think that really like sticks out was the women's triple threat. I know a lot of people love that night one main event as well. But I think potentially this is going to be a stronger WrestleMania this year round. Storytelling still being like some things are working a bit more. Others feel very paint by numbers and a little slow and a little safe for me.
That's just been WWE for me as a fan. It feels so like the go by the numbers, copy paste, literally copy paste so much of the same stuff. So it takes a lot for me to try to get back into it. Like I feel like I felt this way, you know, over 10 years ago as a wrestling fan, where they beat me, like they almost as a fan make you go like, oh, like I don't know if this is for me anymore. And then you keep watching it and you keep watching it. And then this time around, like this last year, I really didn't like. I think this year's WrestleMania will be better than both nights. I don't know if we're going to get a singular match that is better than that triple threat women's match. But I think overall, this WrestleMania should, again, looking on paper where it's kind of going, hopefully better. I'd say I didn't like the build up until this point. And I think of last year, I definitely didn't like a lot of the Cena heel turn promos. Like I love the turn, but I think they just completely botched that. Whereas now, okay, we know our two big matches and it seemed like we're getting our teeth into them at least, right? And then on top of that, you had the big stuff with Brock and Oba. So like, look, I am still very critical, and I don't necessarily feel like, oh my God, I wish I was going to WrestleMania. But at least now this week and last week, we're like, okay, the stuff that matters, we're focusing on at least. So like Randy turning heel with Cody, definitely thumbs up in like a direction and interest, even though maybe they're not getting the crowd results. Like I don't know what they were expecting if Randy turns heel and yet people are just cheering for him. But
I feel they don't I feel they don't
care?
mind, and for me, I feel this this heel turn's kind of different from the Cena one, where it was such an abrupt turn, and I mean we've gone through it to death at this point about, you know, it seemed to be telling one story, then it was telling a different story because you lost The Rock and all that. This time, I feel we all know this Randy, right? We all know the legend killer, the Viper, whatever you want to call him, the sadistic Randy Orton. And he pretty much says it in this promo. Like, Cody wanted it. Cody said, I want that legend killer. I want that Randy. And we love each other. We're brothers. So we'll forgive each other after. And Cody's kind of saying that, like, I want you to bring the viciousness to the match. Whereas Randy is like, okay, I'm going to murder you and everyone you love leading into it. So it's like for Randy, a heel turn out of necessity. But he feels he's been given permission to do it by Cody. And I think therefore the fans are they're excited to see this version of the character again. Similar to like when The Rock turned, and it's like, oh shit, it's like we're seeing like Nation of Domination Rock, or it's like we're seeing Hollywood Rock again. So I don't think they're going to push too hard. And even in his promo, he could have easily just done the, you know, you people, and trash the city that they're in or whatever, where he was still kind of like, you know, I've appreciated you singing my song and all this, like, but it left me dead inside. So I feel they know what they're going into, and I don't think they're necessarily too concerned about Randy getting cheers.
You know, what really took me out, you mentioned singing the song. When he sang the song, I was so done with that segment. I was like, yeah, all right, I could I don't need to see this anymore. I was like, next week, let's go to the next week. Like, fuck off. Like, some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, okay, sure. But as someone says in the chat right now, the easy move is he should absolutely destroy Jelly Roll with him, and they're still friends, and then he's trying to talk to him backstage, and then it's like, well, if you were to punt Jelly, I guess he wouldn't be at WrestleMania or in a match or something. But just think of it. Last year we had Travis Scott interfere in the main event. Why not have Jelly come out to save Cody in the main event? That's probably what's likely to happen. So yeah,
you know, I think Jelly Roll's been fantastic as well. Like, it's you can tell when someone is like a fan, like a celebrity's a fan of the product and all that, and a long-term fan at that. I think he sounded great on the mic. I think that the chat backstage with Randy, I thought he came across very authentic. And, you know, even in his Grammys acceptance speech, he was kind of cutting a bit of a promo there and stuff, and being inspirational. And I think he's coming across really well. So I absolutely agree. I think maybe not a punt, but an RKO or something to Jelly Roll.
Punt him in the head,
or tease the thing he's been doing with the chair and the steps, and maybe that's where you get Cody come back for the save. So you don't actually bludgeon Jelly Roll because you need him fit for a Kit Wilson match. But
well, no, his music's gonna hit, and he's gonna come out and then turn heel and help Randy beat Cody, just like last year with Travis Scott. Are you referring to the Grammy speech where most people were pretty critical about him pussyfooting around something, and then moments after, when people asked him, hey, how come you didn't what you were saying about ice and all this stuff, he's like, oh yeah, I'll talk about, I forgot, I forgot about that. And then,
well, when he says he's a dumb redneck and doesn't really understand politics or know what's going on.
Yeah, that definitely.
No, but like, you know, he did his speech about, you know, being in prison, and like
he's had multiple. He's very talented at talking. I can't look. I think he's really good, and it comes across that he actually is a fan. And you're right, you can totally tell when these fans or when these outsiders, if you will, are actually like invested or even watch or know things, right? But I don't know. I'm feeling like after last year, can we just have like a title program that doesn't involve like these like singers and stuff? Like, I'm like, come on, like we literally are pissed from last year, and that's just maybe. I like him and Kit Wilson. It was silly, it was funny, like that was awesome, that was hilarious. But then he's still tangled up in this, and I'm like,
I don't think we're going to see him involved in the match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think it's fine to have these other characters because they tagged together just 6 months ago. So it would be weird. Like, you don't do the interactions, people will then be going like, why doesn't Jelly Roll have a problem with what Randy's doing or whatever? You know, I think on TV it works, like, to build the match, and especially while Cody's outselling the injury, you need those voices of reason talking to Randy, like, yo, what you doing? Like, Cardona obviously tried to do it, but Jelly Roll having a bit more weight. I mean, not as much as he used to, but a bit more weight in it because of, you know, his stature and how he's a celebrity in that. I don't mind it. It doesn't feel like the Travis Scott stuff to me, because, you know, he disappeared after Elimination Chamber and then just shows up, and I don't see them making that mistake again. And I could honestly see Cody shooting that down as well if they were to suggest it. It's like, no, it fucking failed last year. Have it as an angle on SmackDown. Have it as a way to bring Cody back, where he's about to annihilate Jelly Roll and Cody makes the save and all that. But you do, if you do want to try and build heat on Randy, you do need him to do something dastardly. And I don't think anyone gives a shit about seeing Matt Cardona getting beaten up.
Unfortunately, it did. Yeah, like I said, it did zero. Like, and then on top of it, you have him twice in the show making fun of his action figures, and it's just like, yeah, all right, maybe I actually do side with this guy. Like, that baby face is in. You hear the roar of people when he's making, like, mocking this man to his face, and the crowd is like, yes. And then he fucking murders him, and the crowd are like, yes. And then you're gonna do this to Cody, and we're gonna cheer for this too. So I feel like it's going to be like a 70% Randy at WrestleMania crowd, if not more, just because it's Randy doing the old school Randy stuff. And I feel like maybe that was what was missed last year. Okay, they turned Cena heel, but then you just wanted, like, the Cena that we know versus Cody, and we didn't even get that. Whereas at least now it's like Randy's a dickhead and he's hothead again. But I loved last week's with Cody. I didn't necessarily like this week's as much, but it does lead me to think Jelly Roll's getting those tattoos punted off his face. So I think that's coming soon. But yeah, like, I'm interested in Cody and Randy. I was a big Legacy fan, and hey, maybe he was on the phone with Ted DiBiase or his lawyers, because he seemed to be found not guilty in this trial, and says it's very nice to have my name finally clean. So maybe we do get Ted DiBiase, and then he punts him as well.
Yeah, I don't think, if you're doing it, I don't think it necessarily needs to be a huge angle. But we've seen it in the past, you know, when they brought back, like, Paul Buchanan or Marty Jannetty or stuff like that. It doesn't exactly. It doesn't have to be for, like, a multi-week. Like, Ted DiBiase Jr. is now a big part of this, but to, you know, do something to play with the legacy. Sure. I mean, the guy's not wrestled for a long time, but maybe he can still take an RKO or a punt or something.
I feel like he can get, if the money's right, everybody's got a price for the son of the $1 Million Man. So yeah, it would be funny. It's not needed. And I mean, having him in all these, like, whatever his lawsuit and stuff was about, maybe they don't necessarily want to do stuff with him, but Randy on the phone again. So maybe he is, it's either his dad, it's Ted Jr., maybe it's Hardcore Holly for Cody. And then he turned on to join with Ted. So I don't know.
I've heard talked around as well, which would be interesting. Maybe Kevin Owens on the phone to Randy.
Right.
Because they were feuding. That was going to be the Mania match last year, obviously, and Owens was taken out due to injury. But Owens had been feuding with Cody, like, you know, at the Rumble, and had that long feud with Cody. So maybe it's like Owens on the phone to Randy being like, you know, oh, you saw the light. You saw what I saw. And I can help you get the job done that I can get done. Also, it's been a year now with this injury. So maybe, I know it meant to be serious, but, and not necessarily coming back to wrestle, but being involved somehow would be, he's kind of tied to the story in a way. So,
but then how does that, like, wrestling more than one royal family? Like, because he said that, right? Unless that doesn't happen.
But is it the person saying it is from a wrestling royal family, or is it just someone reminding Randy, remember, you're a third generation superstar as well. You're from a wrestling royal family as well. Like, could see it both ways.
I just want Randy to bring out his own dad and then punt him in the head. My fix is Randy just punts everyone, and then when he finally tries to punt Cody, he can't. And then I think the punt should be something, because they clearly were gearing it up for last year as a big moment, and obviously with what happened, they didn't do that with Kevin and stuff. But I don't know. I don't dislike that. Hey, I miss Kevin Owens. It has been a year, and it's so unfortunate. And I hope, knock on wood, that we get Kevin Owens in a wrestling ring again. But I don't know if it's part of this story, but he would add something, I'm sure, with his talking, and he can still do that while injured. But yeah, I don't know. Like, secretly deep down, I feel like Ted DiBiase would get a laugh out of me. So I'm gonna I might be the only one holding out hope that we get a legacy reunion, and then yeah, he kicks him in the head, and then Cody's like, wait, I'm not even. How am I supposed to feel about this? I'm not mad that you. I'm not mad that you kicked this guy. What do I care?
I can't see him. I think he's saving that punt for one thing. Right. Like the fact that they built it so much for the Kevin Owens feud last year, and obviously it didn't happen. I wouldn't waste a punt on Ted DiBiase Jr. Right. I feel that's a little what was so like, okay, so I didn't really like him doing his lyrics and stuff, but then when he beats up Cardona, then it's like, we got something going on in the back, classic wrestling. And then they cut to the back, and Drew and Fatu, who have been fighting around the world tonight on SmackDown, somehow are up on this this like scaffold thing, and then fall, but you can't see like where they fall. I need to see when you used to have like, hey, press the red button to see what other games we got going on. Like I remember BBC for Wimbledon, like it will be showing center court and Nadal playing or whatever. But if you want to see what's going on court 18, press the red button. I'd love that for SmackDown, where you can just go and see the other things going on backstage. You can see Danhausen loading up his t-shirt cannon or whatever. But this Peter Griffin and Chicken fight that Drew and Jacob were having right from the very start of this 3-hour broadcast to the end. Are we to believe they've just been walking around fighting for 3 hours? But I assume we're getting some kind of, Drew did the Las Vegas street fight last year. I'm pretty sure he's having a Las Vegas street fight again this year. Yeah, I thought that was pretty comical. Just the visual of them falling off. I love wrestlers. Like it happens for years where wrestlers somehow fight and brawl while moving into different areas of an arena. It's just, it was pretty silly to go from the Randy thing, and then just the visual was just hilarious to me. But I guess we're going that route with Drew and him in some sort of gimmick thing. And then I don't know. They don't know what they're doing with Drew. Clear, I think they know exactly what they're doing. No, I just like, I think he's feuding with Jacob too. No, I mean like where we are at with him. Like he feuded with Cody, he beat him, and then he loses the title, and then it's just, we're going this way. I feel like there could have been something bigger, but clearly they didn't think that. Like what? Yeah, if he's not in the title program, like I just didn't think this year Cody was good. I like Drew, but I think this is the obvious. Like I think you'd obviously go with Randy and Cody over Drew and Cody again. 100%. But if we didn't already do Drew and Cody to death, where he won by walking or falling out of a cage, then if you kept that away from that, then heating up Drew for Cody for like a Mania match, sure. But I don't know, like clearly from Mania to post Chamber, it seemed like they weren't necessarily sure, but then flip flop. Like I feel like Drew is just, what I'm getting at is Drew is done dirty yet again. In a way, because you just said, oh, didn't he do a street fight last year? It's like, fuck, dude, yeah, and they're doing literally a similar. I think the problem is he's just drips. Like he's a Chris Jericho, he's not the guy. Like he's great, like he's a great talker, got a great look, great wrestler as well, like for his style. But he's not the guy. He's not a Randy. He's not a Cody. He's not a Punk. And when it comes to Mania, you do like, you know, like Jericho, he gets a William Regal match for Mania. And it's like, oh, okay. I kind of feel Drew's in that position. Like Jacob is someone they clearly want to be a main eventer as well. So and this feud's been going on for, you know, since beginning of the year. So it's not like this is a rush together match. I think we're getting obviously Drew and Jacob, but I think Backlash we're getting Drew versus Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's kind of, you know, we had I think Drew might be in that Gunther role this year. You know, last year Gunther lost to Jey Uso at Mania, and then you watch Unreal and they're like, we need to rehab Gunther, and then Backlash is so often of just rehashing what we've already done. So like, let's put a bit of a novelty in there and a Pat McAfee. I see them doing the same like thinking for this. It's right. You know, Nick Aldis to a lot of, I mean, I'm not the biggest Nick Aldis fan as a wrestler, but there is a novelty of seeing the like GM or whatever wrestling, and to a lot of the WWE audience, they'd have probably never seen him wrestle before anyway. So I could see Drew losing to Fatu at Mania, and then, you know, he's so pissed off at Nick Aldis. Maybe you have some Aldis involvement, and that's the Backlash match.
Sounds great.
And Drew can win that.
Yeah, I just feel like maybe after the big Drew feud, you just felt like he was a character people seem to be really into. I don't know. Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe they still are.
I think he's the second biggest story on SmackDown right now. Yeah. Like it opened and closed the show. I wonder if we're ever going to get a reveal of who attacked Jey Uso and Jacob Fatu in the first place. Was it just Drew the whole time?
Right.
If they'll tie that into it at all.
Where are we going? Kit Wilson? Talk.
So that's happening next week, isn't it? Kit Wilson versus Jelly Roll on SmackDown next week. Will we actually get a match, or is it going to be like, is this where Randy attacks Jelly Roll and this match doesn't happen? And
like, I feel like I like Jelly Roll, but is this just too? I feel like I'm already jelly rolled out. I feel like I felt that way like when it was his SummerSlam match, and I feel like now he's just a character on this show a lot. But I don't know. Again, bless him. I actually do think he's quite charming. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just maybe a little, like, being completely honest, I'm a little jelly roll. I don't care. I don't care. I want him kicked in the head. That's what the story needs, I guess. But
I'm enjoying the Jelly Roll Miz Kit Wilson stuff. I think it's been pretty fun. I enjoyed them talking about his Willie on this week's show.
Funny. He was funny.
As I said, he's clearly putting the work in. He's looking in great shape. Like the amount of work, like weight he's lost. There's always a celebrity match at Mania, sure. And
isn't this a cheap one though? Like, we already seen it. We've already had him a few times on TV. So usually, like, what's this stuff? Are they pushing for a Tom Brady Logan Paul match? Is that why we've pivoted, because they've been trying to work that into existence? Like, that's what it looks like. That maybe Tom Brady is the one that's been holding stuff up, because they usually have a celebrity appearance, but they don't usually just go, hey, like Jelly Roll we've seen already. So I don't know. Maybe they go for someone else.
I think there's still a novelty though, and especially like he's just getting more and more popular. And I think coming off the Grammy wins and all that, I'm not offended by this. It's more enjoyable than a lot of the stuff they're doing. This is a way of getting Kit Wilson on the show as well, because Kit Wilson's got pretty popular recently, and I do see it probably being a tag. Maybe Danhausen involved as well, and
at WrestleMania.
Like whether Danhausen's just in the corner, or like I don't know if this Rolls Royce thing is. It seems a little weird, like having Will Hobbs like in this feud. I just do Jelly Roll and Danhausen versus the two.
Yeah. Wait, that's Miz?
Yeah,
Miz and Kit Wilson. Yeah. I'll just bite my tongue on this one. But anything else from SmackDown? Oh, I mean, we talked about Raw. Like, I do think the swerve with Oba and Brock, like, yeah, okay, depending on how people feel about Brock, but we're getting him regardless. Oba's clearly the right move. Seeing the visual of Brock being manhandled like that instantly adds some like, ooh, this is going to be a big meaty match at WrestleMania. So like, yeah, that's a great direction of something that you can get hyped about. Like we said on Up Next, like book it like 10 minutes, stunts, Goldberg, Brock, that one WrestleMania where they're going through the guardrail and all the big moves and everything. And hopefully it's not like Brock from Goldberg Mania 20, but I think Oba goes over, get a big push from Oba, and then like fucking push him and I don't know, title picture or something.
And win the title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, something like that, right? Like that's definitely the way to go because he's looking huge. I'm seeing people, doing the Oba walk. He seems like it's just a really over character, and then he tells the world on Stephanie McMahon's podcast that he loves Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. So people are like, wait a second. You are a WWE superstar. Yes. Of course. Of course you do.
We had the build for Rhea and Jade, and now Michin and B-Fab have joined Jade as the new baddies or whatever. A lot of people kind of saw this one coming. I'm not enjoying this build. I don't think the promos have been good, and I think like Rhea is so popular, right? Like she's obviously got star quality about her and things, but I still don't really think she's improved on the mic, and I think she was able to hide a lot of the time in Judgment Day with not really being exposed too much on the mic, and the Mami stuff is popular and Mami's always on top. But when it actually comes to, a heated face-to-face promo build, I don't think she's fantastic. And it's just been a bit weird because they sort of started this Twitter beef, whether it was shoot, kayfabe, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They haven't really brought it into this story. And it's been more about, I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. You don't really care about wrestling, but I'm the champ. Blah blah blah. It's been pretty shallow, I think, and maybe adding some muscle for Jade is a good thing. But I
don't want to hear the word muscle. And this feud is all about muscle. It's all I have bigger muscles than you. Well, I have bigger muscles. Now they're tweeting again about muscles. I'm like, okay, you both have muscles, and that's the feud. We're feuding. The title is secondary. Who's got the bigger guns, Rhea Ripley or Jade? That's what this match is. I feel like it's such a waste for Rhea. Like she is the biggest, hottest WWE star right now. And I feel like this is dragging her back down a little bit, unfortunately. Like I mentioned weeks ago, I went to a mall and there was a store with 7 different Rhea shirts. I went to this other store, same thing. There was like 3 Rhea shirts and shirts for no one else. I was like, that's crazy. Like I'm seeing people who don't know anything about wrestling or WWE who are asking me or talking, oh, hey, what's this Rhea Ripley? It's like, you're getting dudes, you're getting women. Like, it doesn't matter. She's just breaking through of that, like, pop, like, people love her. And I just feel like this, like, Jade does, she just looks like, yeah, she's got that aura. But when she talks and then, like, wrestles, the God disappears instantly, vaporizes. And now you're adding 2 people that she was, beaten up, and like what is she? I think she says they're called the Takeover. It's the name of this group. Like, wow, very original name too. But I don't know. I feel like this is damaging. This Rhea could have been like, what if it was just Rhea and Io? Rhea turned heel. Boom, there's your fucking match. And instead, we're getting whatever this is. I don't know what they could do.
I think my problem is I don't mind having the Rumble winner versus your main champion or whatever. Obviously, they've done that for years, and you've got time to build up that story. And that's like almost it's just more of a sport aspect. These 2 are facing each other because they're both the best. This one's been the champion for a while. This one's so easy Rumble.
To do.
It's easy. Yeah. I don't like setting up the other title match at Elimination Chamber because you then have to force these personal feuds. And I think they've actually done a good job with having Randy win because there's already so much history with Randy and Cody. So you can tell that story pretty quickly and make it personal pretty quickly. But where you just have like Rhea wins, she's been on a different show to Jade anyway. And then, so it's like, this is the match. And now we have 4 weeks and we have to try and make it personal somehow, rather than having your feuds that are already personal, they escalate. And then it's like, I hate you. And because I hate you, I want to take your title as well. And I think these second title matches suffer because of that, because it then becomes, like, oh, we've got to try and heat up this feud. So let's talk trash on Twitter, or let's talk about how big our muscles are. And it's not working. And I don't think either, like, the promo segments with each other just haven't landed at all for me. Yeah,
really. Like, I think my expectations were low involving Jade again. Like, I'm not trying to knock. It just, since coming to WWE, it was like, okay, like, let's see what they could do with her. And yeah, she's champion, like, looks the part for sure. I can never deny that. It's just every other aspect, I negative interest. And then I watched this week's and I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Rhea just seems like it's like when you get, when I was a kid and I'd pick up the latest copy of Spider-Man or Batman. And of course, this one issue that I convinced my mom to buy for me is like Calendar Man, or like a shittier like episode of a show where you're like, man, Rhea is the star. She could potentially be main eventing WrestleMania. And instead, I don't see Jade Rhea main eventing either. And in fact, they've told us that it's Randy, Cody, night one anyways. But
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like this is a bit backwards for Rhea. Like, I know she's had her WrestleMania moments and matches before, but I don't know. It feels weird considering how popular she is. But what else? Anything else from?
We had R-Truth and Damian Priest win the tag titles.
Nice. I mean, that's fine. The tag division is whatever, anyways. This is like, you needed. R-Truth came back and did nothing. So Damian Priest has been doing nothing. So why not? Like, at this point, sure. It's better than feuding over tag titles than feuding over lanterns from Walmart.com. So I guess I'll take this.
Well, yeah, we had afterwards Solo Sikoa berating the MFTs for losing it, and kind of Tama Tonga stepping up, saying you sound a bit like Roman. It feels like they're telling a bit of a story with Tama Tonga, and probably leaving this group and going solo. There's the interactions with Nakamura. There's talks of Evil coming in. I wonder if we're going in that direction with him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the talks about what Evil is free from New Japan. Isn't Sonata as well? You have Takahashi. Hiromu's been doing stuff with Noah though. I don't know. They're bringing in all the people from New Japan. I'm not necessarily too high on, but I don't know if it leads to something, but yeah.
Anything else from Smackdown or WWE this week?
Yeah, like I said, like, this week wasn't necessarily a knockout, but at least we have direction of some big matches. Like you said, like, on paper, okay, Brock Oba, fine addition to a WrestleMania card. Easily should be added to night 2 as a big attraction. Cody, Randy, sure, you had Cody off, obviously selling the injury. Could definitely get a bit juicier, or jellier with maybe a punt there. But yeah, I don't know. This week didn't, like, I watched it, and I it's WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch, and I still am like, all right, WrestleMania, not too hyped for it, but steps in the right direction. We still have some weeks to go, so that's how I felt.
A nice bridge from WWE to AEW is the news that the great Brandon Thurston from WrestleNomics Post Wrestling broke this week that there were 4 bidders for purchasing the WWE. Obviously, Endeavor winning out and forming TKO with the merger of UFC and WWE. But Tony Khan was one of the bidders, put in a bid of over $6 billion to acquire WWE. So what do you make of this? And let's just, like, maybe fantasy book for a second. Let's say this happened, and you had the dual screen going on of Dynamite on a Title Tuesday against NXT. Why not? For old time's sake, with the news Tony Khan has bought WWE. What do you make of all this?
Well, first, shout out Brandon Thurston and John Pollock.
Absolutely.
Love the work they do at WrestleNomics and Post Wrestling, and their show on Thursdays on the Post Wrestling. And the theme song to their show is absolutely stellar. But the report here of there's all these different parties interested, like over 20 different parties were like potentially interested in purchasing WWE. Remember the times of when that was happening? Like, oh, is it bought by Saudi and all this kind of stuff. But this whole base 10 and clearly going back to Tony Khan and the owner of AEW. So you just know that he wanted to do something of like, the name on the contract says Khan, but not Nick. Tony Khan, Anthony Khan. $6.9 billion bid, which comparing to the other bids is the low ball offer. It looks like a little bit there. 6.9 bill, a little cheap there, Tony. But no, I don't know. Like that would have been so interesting, but I think just out of like, I wouldn't have seen that happen. Like, I feel like they just would not have gone that way. But I guess, hey, if the bid was higher, maybe there actually was a chance. But yeah, what would the wrestling world look like? What would WWE look like if Tony Khan bought it?
I would hope,
Better.
like, if he were to, I would hope that he, AEW still is baby. And I think you still run. I don't think you try and make WWE like AEW. I don't think you start doing Texas death matches on WWE TV. I think you still have to keep it this somewhat cartoonish sports entertainment product because that's what it's always been. And you run AEW separately as its own thing on its different networks. But once a year, you could do a crossover thing, couldn't you?
Forbidden Door.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think you do those big events where you can do crossovers. You can do, like, at your Royal Rumble, you can mix the rosters up a little bit. But I because he's one of us, right? Like, he's a wrestling fan at heart. I can't necessarily see him going, all right, well, we're just going to merge AEW and WWE, and we're going to have all the same branding. It's WWE branding for everything. Or at least, if I was a billionaire and could do this, I would try to run them separately and maybe still have some of those people in place, like at WWE, to run that. The people that have been there and know how that runs. But yeah, very interesting. I mean, yes, it was the lowest of the 4 offers, but still, like, it's a serious offer. It's not like just throwing some change and like, oh yeah, I'll have a go. But like, it's clearly a serious offer, and I hope, Dynasty coming up, I hope people ask him, push him about this.
What are you going to ask him?
What were you going to do?
What were your plans? Were you going to do Monday Night Raw matches featuring the AEW Championship?
Yeah.
Were you going to have the Infantry versus R-Truth and Damian Priest on TV?
Okay, who would the Buff Bagwell Booker T match be? And I guess if it's AEW buying WWE, you do it as the main event. You do a WWE match as the main event.
Oh, right.
Dynamite,
Yeah, sorry.
Don't
yeah,
you?
sorry.
You got to do it that way round. So, I mean, it would be The Miz, wouldn't it? Like, if we're talking about a Buff Bagwell, like...
Hey, you said it. I didn't say that one. That was you.
No, I'm like, I mean, it's very easy to go, oh, you do Roman Reigns, CM Punk, main event of Dynamite. But I'm thinking like that first Raw, where it's that main event is Booker
Miz and
T,
Danhausen.
Miz and Danhausen against, whoever. But no, very
You could
interesting.
get big, think of the dream matches. Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns, Jelly Roll, and Big Boom AJ. We could get all the big matches if that were to happen. But I feel like it would be like once a year. Yeah, you do a show where you do have a bit of a crossover. But look, like out of all the people who bid, like he seems to be the one who knows the most about wrestling, if that's fair. So I don't know. I wouldn't want him owning WWE as a fan. Like, no, you created your own.
You don't
thing.
want monopoly.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't want monopoly. I want you to. You did your own thing, and it's going great. As much as I'm sure there's anti-AEW people out there like this. AEW is going to run out in the ground and they're going to be out of business. And they've been saying that since day one. And here's this guy throwing $6.9 billion offers to WWE. I think he's okay. I think he's doing fine.
Like, even if shit with Turner doesn't work out, like, this guy, as long as he still has a passion for this, which you see him at those presses, he clearly like still loves this.
Right.
And the fact he's putting in bids like this for WWE, he loves this. AEW ain't going anywhere.
Absolutely not. We're here to stay. Strap in, haters. Definitely. Like, think about if you were a billionaire and you're like, I don't need to do anything. Like, I literally I could sit on a beach for the rest of my life. Like, I literally don't. But if I think of like that age-old question, if you won the lottery, you know, what would you do for a living? Would you do your dream job? Like, probably would. And don't have to worry about if it's making money or not, because you're just doing it for the love of the game. Except he's doing it for a little bit of both, I would say at this point. But definitely interested to see that story about him potentially putting a bit, like, fucking crazy. But I just could not see that happening ever.
Like, how do you, like, if someone asks him, which they should, like anyone who has the opportunity, like, should ask him.
Noted.
Like, what is his pivot? Like, how does he end up pivoting to our great, like, you know,
street fight tonight,
Scorpio Sky match we have on Collision tonight? Like, because he'll do it. He'll somehow find a way to do it. Like,
I don't know. Media trained TK is a different beast.
He has been better.
He's been really good. He's really friendly. He's really nice. Like, I can sit here and poke fun at stuff I don't like and everything, but wrestling is supposed to be like fun and entertainment and everything. But he seemed to be a lot better lately with like, hey, it seems like he's media trained a bit, which is I guess is good. But yeah, very interesting.
I mean, if you got $6.9 billion kicking around,
you better be.
You should be able to have
media
someone give you a bit of media training. Yeah,
you better be fucking media trained. Or it's a like AI bot that's just replaced him for these media conferences. But yeah.
So what did we make of AEW Dynamite this week? The fallout from Revolution.
Yeah, I mean, huge pay-per-view last week. I think across the board, a lot of people who checked it out were thumbs up, if not double, if we could, 3 thumbs up. Like, it was just a stellar show. Like, really going to be hard for a pay-per-view this year to top that. A wrestling show, top to bottom. Like, I thought really knocked it out the park. You can hear our review from last week. But this week's Dynamite, I was over at your place. We were doing some recording, and then you made some lovely lasagna, and then we hung out and watched Dynamite. And still an enjoyable show, but to be honest and critical, as sort of my job on this show at least, I thought they kind of missed a big opportunity for, you know, that post Revolution show to, I don't know, not necessarily, there wasn't necessarily anything particularly bad or anything on this show, but I think you possibly had more eyes on the product on Wednesday, simply coming off of a hot show on Sunday, potentially first-time watchers or something. And I didn't feel it was the strongest use of that. And I almost got like a flashback of a few years ago where AEW was doing this constantly, where as soon as the pay-per-view happened, they just didn't know what they were doing. At least it seemed like that. And that's Dynamite for the last few months have just been like a fucking awesome show to watch. And the one show that I felt like was very important, not only to sell the pay-per-view the week before, but like the post pay-per-view fans, the new people, the attention after such a good show. I felt like they maybe missed on that opportunity this week. It was a pretty unmemorable episode of Dynamite. Again, not saying this was a bad show, but wasn't a good show.
No, I thought it was weak. And they are kind of consistent with coming out with pay-per-view with not delivering. And I just think that the formatting was wrong. I think it was a mistake not having certain people on this show. I like you had like one of the best AEW pay-per-views. Like we were raving about it last week, and but some big angles, you know, Ronda Rousey, you had Hangman Page never being able to challenge for the title again. Don't get me wrong, I loved MJF's like backstage promo but he should have opened this show. He should have been in front of that crowd. He should have been gloating.
Yeah.
He should have been saying, like, we're probably not going to see Hangman for a while because he's not going to know how to deal with this. Like, you could have still maybe shown this clip like a, cold open before the opening credits, like MJF immediately after, and then him come out. Great to see Ospreay wrestle, but I don't think we needed to see him wrestle. I think it was, again, more important for him to just come out and speak and call out the Death Riders and stuff. And I just thought you needed to start. I feel you should always start either promote your main event is the world champions coming out, or your world champion opens the show after such a big win. No real mention of Ronda either. Like, I know she's going to have limited dates and all that, but like, you might, as you said, you might have caught new eyes. And I think you'd want to really follow up on that. And like Marina saying something like, I don't know, like Ronda Rousey, like, isn't here, but trust, she's always watching. And you never know when she's going to attack or something like that. Just keep her relevant in the story. Obviously, we'll get into the Toni Storm stuff. There was stuff playing around with that. But I even thought the like Kenny Swerve setup was a little messy with the EVP thing. Like Kenny just blankly announcing that Swerve is the number one contender, and Swerve being like, "Oh shit, I am." Like, that's news to me.
Right.
It was odd, and like just even the main event was a bit like, it was fun. Like, I love Bucks trios matches, but you've got the Bucks doing their fun PWG style trios main event, and then afterwards they've got to get serious and depressed again, like, to set it. I don't know, it wasn't a hot show. Like, there was certainly good stuff on it, but you should have been like, AEW don't do enough pay-per-views. I mean, I think they do a right amount of pay-per-views, but because there are a few a year, you should kind of treat every Dynamite after a pay-per-view as a Raw after WrestleMania. These are the fresh new feuds, and this is the fallout from the previous one, and they fail on that quite a lot.
Yeah, maybe people are banged up or injuries from the pay-per-view, but I have this great idea. What if, now follow me, it might sound crazy, it might sound insane, actually. What if you cut some of the matches from the pay-per-view and you put them on this show? Oh my God, that might be the answer to the problem that they had this week. Because as much as I love and respect Rocky Romero, coming off of what was one of their best pay-per-views, you did not need to see Rocky Romero in the main event. No, on that show. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. Like, I really thought they've been killing it this past few weeks. And okay, they had a bit of a hiccup here with this stuff. Setting up stuff for next week looks awesome for sure, but I just would have thought, after such, like, the Ronda thing alone, Hangman, MJF, big story there. Like, there were some big things to come off this pay-per-view, and I just felt like it did the opposite effect on Wednesday, where it's like, hey, if you didn't watch the pay-per-view, you should order the replay or whatever. But instead, it was just like, here's all these other characters that we didn't have featured on. And I don't know, it was a lackluster, it was a weak episode, but there's still some decent wrestling on it. Like, I thought the Ospreay match was fine, but we didn't need that. We didn't need it. As much as Trey Baxter is pretty impressive sometimes when he wrestles, but like, I don't know, we didn't need that this week. Yeah,
it's like, but also just announcing it, like, the graphic just came up like the day before, and it's like, oh, is this real? Oh, Ospreay's wrestling. Oh, it's like, okay. It didn't. It just, for me, it normalized Ospreay being back already. Like, I'm 3 minutes into the match, and I'm like, oh, Ospreay's back, and it didn't feel like, oh man, Ospreay's back. He's one of our main eventers. He should win the title at Wembley. Like, it just felt, oh, it's Ospreay, and it's. I think it lost how special he is pretty quickly, where you could have built up, okay, you might not want to hold him off till Dynasty, but at least build up, have him call out the Death Riders. He's going for Jon Moxley. I assume he's facing Pac along the way, and set up that. Ospreay's first big match back. He's got to face Pac next week on Dynamite. Promote.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I just felt like maybe it was just a leftovers episode, essentially, of what we got. Like, okay, Bucks afterwards, face to face with Cage and Cope. Got to say it right because that's what the T-shirt says.
It's
Great.
yes,
Cage and Cope.
Cage, Cope, cross cage.
Like we can see that like All In should be Bucks, the CNC, and FTR in a All In TLC match. Like that's the end game of this tag team division right now. Double or Nothing should be Bucks versus Cage and Cope, the tag match. FTR, that is the right now the only match announced for Dynasty is FTR versus Cope and Cage 2 for the tag titles. So in Canada again. So we're getting that. But off of watching this week, like what's to come with this Kenny Swerve thing? They're doing this match again on television. Maybe we're not getting that match at Dynasty, or this does somehow set up the third one at Dynasty, because I just felt like as soon as this show was announced for the West Coast of Canada, Vancouver, you'd imagine Kenny is in a featured match, potentially MJF, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, a little weird because the fact that you've set this EVP thing leads you to think that Swerve's going to win and become the EVP, but Kenny MJF at Dynasty makes a whole lot of sense.
Like, what if he just beats Swerve and then it's like, no, I still am EVP and now I'm the number one contender. MJF, Canada, fuck you. I'm taking that belt. Boom. There's the story. Like, I guess that's what's happening this week. I would probably hope for that match. As much as I'm shocked they're doing Swerve Kenny, I would have loved to see that at Dynasty, being honest as well. Like, I love.
I mean, we might still get that. But then who would MJF's opponent be?
Andrade?
Oh no, Darby, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, they had Darby call out. Yeah. Although no, Swerve is okay. Swerve's number one contender apparently. So yeah. No, he's done with the dogs. He put them in a coffin. Remember, he called out MJF after the match.
He did. So like you could easily go to that match, but we just had MJF do all the death match shit. Wouldn't you have that? Like they've had matches in the past where you probably think they were gonna.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, this is the number one contenders match. So Kenny Swerve, it'll be one of them against MJF. I assume Kenny wins then. I assume it's Kenny versus MJF at Dynasty.
And then Moxley versus Ospreay.
Moxley versus Ospreay. Swerve, where does Swerve fit in?
If it's not Swerve,
is it a triple threat? Maybe.
With MJF? I don't know if I'd like that as much, but
no.
We haven't had Swerve and MJF, right?
We've not had Swerve and MJF.
But right now, that wouldn't make sense.
Dynamically a little weird right now.
Yeah. I wouldn't want that right now.
Like, is Andrade still in the mix? Like, Andrade's unhappy about the Don Callis family accepting money from MJF. So I do like you've got all these contenders for MJF. I think that's a great thing that everyone's calling out the champion. We see who our like big six are in the company right now, I feel like that little thing has really helped. I don't know, maybe not just my own interest, but like people's interest in like, because we just complained about the thing that the same traps that they've fallen into in the past, where the champion should come out and control the show, like most likely after a big win, and he wasn't there. Whereas like you kind of forget about those kinds of things. Whereas you have now all these people calling out the champion, which has been a thread for the last like few months on AEW TV, which I think has really helped with some of these contenders. So I don't know. Darby MJF is still a big match. We've seen them wrestle in the past. They've had awesome. My match chemistry of the year one year. Yeah. Yeah. Like they have good chemistry too. I just feel like we've heated things up with Kenny and talking about number one contenders and all that. It would be weird. Like Darby, you've been off and busy and stuff. You don't just get a title shot just because you say it now. So I think Kenny MJF, but we'll have to see this Wednesday. They got us hooked for this Kenny Swerve 2, which definitely will be worth watching. I can't wait to watch that this Wednesday night. So, I'm not sure what else we get added to Dynasty. Like Andrade, love the match with Bandito. You could do Mystico Andrade at Dynasty. Just do the Lucha thing again. I don't know. There's a few potential options, but I know it's going to be a fun show that we shall see. And then same with like Toni Storm. She got taken out, and now there's reports that she's gone for the rest of the year, when like clearly I would imagine Ronda Rousey Toni was the idea for All In Wembley. So not sure where things
lie with that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was weird booking because it seems like they found out like whatever's going on. I know a lot of people speculating that Toni might be pregnant because
right,
the time she's going to be off and undisclosed injury and all that. So perhaps, but kind of weird how they did it. Like Bryan Danielson clearly didn't know that Toni, like, about this angle and Toni being off, because the show starts and Excalibur's like, oh, Toni's gone. And Danielson's like, sorry, what? What's happening? So it seems pretty last minute that this all happened and set up this angle. But I was really surprised that Mina won this. And I can only assume maybe it's to keep her relatively strong. I don't think Mina versus Ronda's a particularly big match, but was weird to have Marina lose on Sunday's pay-per-view and then lose to Mina. Like, I like Mina. I think Mina's great, but if you look at like the pecking order at AEW, she's not at the top. So I just found it a bit weird that you introduce a big angle with Ronda and you have Mina go over Marina on this show.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like, I'm sure eventually they'll say what it is, if it's an injury, if it is something like that. But it's fun whenever like a woman there's announcements of like, oh, like, hey, like she's going to be taking time off or she's injured or something like that. As soon as that, people are like, oh, maybe she's pregnant. It's just like,
yeah. And then there's Jacob Fatu who's off with a undisclosed injury, and then it comes out, it's like, yeah, I needed like emergency dental work and it was going to take a while to heal. And you're like, oh, okay, he's pregnant.
I feel like he probably is that too, because the way he's got like 10 kids or something like that.
Yeah. So. What would you like? So now, like, what would you say the Ronda match is?
If it's not Toni at All In, I don't think Mina is the big enough replacement, but you could easily do. I don't know if it's Mercedes, because I think Mercedes Tekla would be the bigger match there. I'm not sure who is Toni's replacement. If it's not, that's a shame, because like that would be pretty entertaining to watch. For good or bad.
I think Mercedes makes the most sense.
Right.
Like, and yeah, I think Mercedes versus Tekla is a great idea, but you need someone with star power against Ronda Rousey. And I think they only had one match in WWE, and I'm pretty sure it was on a Raw. Was it even on a pay-per-view? I can't remember. But
I think like the history,
so that there's history there. I think Mercedes is going to come back as a babyface, because I think she's building quite a lot of goodwill doing this indie run, dropping these titles back.
For anyone who is like, oh, what does this do for these indie promotions, having Mercedes do all this stuff? The numbers show a fucking lot, by the way, because a bunch of these indies are now on the map and are selling tickets and even have like streaming and TV deals. So actually a whole lot, proving that argument, that stupid argument I saw online in the last year or so, like completely just doing it for the love of the game. Okay, she's getting paid, I'm sure, but it's indie dates. It's not like AEW money. And yet somehow, since touching these indie feds, they're doing even better than they were before. So just
the travel as well. Like, she doesn't need to be going to Winnipeg, you know?
Like, need to go to Winnipeg. No one needs to go to Winnipeg.
There's like she's traveling like multiple continents and stuff for like, I'm sure she's being paid well, but she's clearly, like, her and Bailey clearly are in that stage where they're wanting to give back and they're wanting to make sure women's wrestling is healthy and, you know, put over these other women and stuff. So I think she's built up a lot of goodwill, and obviously, like, absence makes the cart grow fonder. I see her coming back, and there's potential for a babyface run, and she hasn't had particularly successful babyface runs in the past, but we've seen over the last couple of years that things have started to come together with her, and I think her passion for wrestling seems authentic to me. And where I think maybe people are questioning, like, oh, you got fed up with WWE, so you're just going for a payday. It's like, no, I think she's proven she's here to wrestle. She wants to wrestle. She wants to work. And I think there's built-in history there with her and Ronda, star power level. Like, I can't really think of anyone else who'd go.
I agree.
Like,
that should be the match. Like if it's not her in the title match, it should be her and Ronda. And we went to Ronda, Charlotte, Becky. So there's even like, that missing, like that kind of thing there. I don't know. I feel like that's the easiest next option.
And then you can build up Willow for Tekla.
Sure.
I think she's Willow Ronda doesn't feel quite like that. Feels a little odd. I just think personality wise, but I think Willow going for that big babyface win at Wembley. Tekla shouldn't drop this title before Wembley, in my opinion. I think
I agree. Willow,
great.
Yeah, Willow versus Tekla should be. What's Tekla's match at Dynasty? Is it
maybe Mina? Maybe that's why they gave Mina this win, because you've lost one of your key people. You can't go back to the Statlander feud. If you want to hold off Willow until All In, who are the other women there? Really, who are the baby faces to feud with Tekla?
Yeah, well, they teased something this week. We were talking about it because we watched Dynamite together, and I don't think I didn't necessarily take notes on my Dynamite this week, but I was feeling like there was a direction easily. Who is the other star right now that they could go towards? Like, crap, I forget who it is, but yeah, I feel like there's a few options you could go with, but
unless you have like a returning Shida or Rio or someone like that, but I could see Mina Tekla maybe. It's not huge, but like that would explain the win over Marina from Mina this week.
Yeah, that's true, but. Looking forward to seeing some match announcements for Dynasty. I'm sure it'll be a stellar show, but looking forward to Kenny and Swerve this week. And that might lead us into the direction of some of the matches for Dynasty in Vancouver. Was there anything else? I know that there was some New Japan stuff there, but it feels colder than my coffee right now to me. And my coffee is very cold. It's been out for a while. I saw the New Japan Cup stuff, and they're leading to is it Cal Newman versus Tsuji at Sakura Genesis. Like he's clearly someone that I guess they're going to put some steam. I don't see him winning that match, but not necessarily. I feel New Japan is really struggling post Wrestle Kingdom. Even for someone like me who's really into watching wrestling, I'm not interested in watching that product right now, and that tells a lot. I think as well as you. I know it's been a cold product.
I have no idea what's going on in New Japan. Exactly. I have been just like seeing stuff online, like people have been like commenting on the improvements of Callum Newman. That's just going off of like stuff I've been reading and like hearing, but I haven't watched anything of it, so I don't know. But
and then there was the AAA show last week where we had the Grande Americanos feuding still. So I wonder if that's leading to a WrestleMania match or a Triple Mania match or something, because I know they've had quite a few like different multi-man matches and stuff, but you'd imagine at WrestleMania it's a mask versus mask, right? And then Shorty G loses his mask because I feel like he's lost this gimmick. Especially to the Mexican fan base, that when
they've dropped the ball on this one. I think I've liked the idea of it. I found both versions of the Americanos fun, but it doesn't really make much sense anymore. No. Like
what does
El Grande Americano wins Rey de Reyes, and he's going to be challenging Vikingo, and is a huge baby face there. Apparently cut this like crazy passionate promo.
I watched it.
And they absolutely love him. And then Gable on Raw, who's meant to be the babyface, is goofing around, not able to speak Spanish. And like, okay, I was listening to What Culture, and they bring this up, and I'm like, yeah, you're completely right. So this all started because Gable couldn't beat luchadors. So he goes to Mexico and meets someone who gets given a mask, learns the way of lucha, so he can kill them from within, I guess, come back as this luchador and beat all the luchadors. He then gets injured, and in his injury, he spawned 3 new luchadors. So he's completely failed. And now he's come back, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I don't even think they've capitalized on the comedy too well. I think it might make it work a lot better if you just had Kaiser pivot and be the babyface on Raw with Ryo and Bravo and Chad bit, he's clearly the obnoxious American who can't speak Spanish and doesn't care about the traditions and all that. Just keep it. And yeah,
Look at NXT this week. They were baby faces.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was so confused.
And at this point, I don't think the match even feels big enough for Mania. That the card is starting to fill up. We've got, I imagine, like the last few years, we've had 7 matches per night. We're gonna have, at least 1 tag title match on there. The women's tag title matches for sure. Whatever the Gunther match is going to be, whatever the EO match is going to be. There might be room for it. It just, at this point, doesn't particularly feel a big Mania match, which is a shame because it could have been. It writes itself, right?
Like if they could definitely try to pivot and save it because it feels like it still could be, but just funny. Like today this morning I woke up, I was like, all right, I'm going to watch all this wrestling today. And it's like, okay, what happened? Let me put up on SmackDown. And then I see I'm not trying to read what happened, but I'm going to go put it on. And it's like Jelly Roll and Kit Wilson slam poetry. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then I clicked,
it was fun.
And then I was like, hey, AAA Rey de Reyes. I was like, oh, okay, let me click that headline. Original El Grande Americano steals Rey de Reyes sword. I was like, for fuck's sake. So then I watched it. I watched the promo, and Rey Mysterio was pretty funny doing the English translations. But I do feel like you got to do a big blow off. But maybe the Grande wins the belt from Vikingo, and then potentially down the line you save that match. I don't know. This lore I don't care about particularly, but it's still like I saw that this was a show last night. I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, it's just funny how he's clearly the babyface cutting this emotional promo. He's basically crying while saying it, like my family and all this stuff. And JBL is like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? This guy's a liar. He's not actually Mexican. We'll see if it leads to something, but yeah. But the best thing that I have seen in wrestling this week that happened this morning, I gotta say, you've heard me talk about DDT Pro Wrestling before on this show. I'm very sad that they're not doing a show WrestleMania weekend. I would be furious if that would be the one show I hate missing when they do like the traveling DDT shows. But I saw this results. So I'm sorry if I'm spoiling anything from DDT. I'm sure people are so mad, but I'm going to read you the results of what happened on a show this morning from DDT. DDT Pro Judgment 2026. Minoru Suzuki is pinned by a pair of eyeglasses, and therefore the new Iron Man champion is a pair of glasses that has to defend the title at Tokyo Joshi Pro Grand Princess at the next show. So what had happened was this big multi-person matchup where everyone dogpiled on the end to try to get the pin. But in pure DDT fashion, the ref counted the glasses and held them up afterwards to a very confusing reaction from the crowd. This is real graps right here. Look at this referee selling the glasses is the champion. A pair of glasses is the champion. So what I'm saying is WrestleMania weekend bookers and promoters, you know what to do. The glasses versus the dog. WrestleMania weekend. Book this shit.
Man, if WWE did this, you'd be saying this is the biggest pile of shit ever.
No, like, I preferred this.
You absolutely would. If a pair of glasses won a championship in WWE, you'd say this is fucking stupid. This is a fucking kid show bullshit.
No, absolutely love this. This is hilarious. It's so stupid, but this is DDT. They do that stupid shit. They do like the Iron Man, the 24/7 hardcore shit. Like that's exactly what they do. But yeah, fuck. I read that and was like, what? Why would that happen? But of course, it's DDT. So, yeah. And Tokyo Joshi Pro, they're the ones who are like owned by the same company, and they're doing a bunch of different like traveling shows in the States, which is a bit weird. But I read that and was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I saw the clip of the dog and now glasses. That's the dream match right there in a water park match. Book it. WrestleMania weekend. Like that WrestleMania weekend, there's some cool, fun stuff. Like you're seeing some AEW talent, some WWE talent being advertised for like Bloodsport and like all that stuff. But I'm always like interested around the WrestleMania weekend of all the other stuff. What's that like Mark Hitchcock Memorial Show?
Yep.
They tend to have a lot of big matches on that as well. I think it's is it Mark Davis versus shit, I forget, but there's some cool stuff advertised, so you get a big mix, and Gringo's Lucha Show and everything. So yeah, anyone going to WrestleMania, and if you are listening and you're going to any of these shows, Mania weekend, would love any like live feedback aspects and stuff like that, because I'll definitely be cherry picking when the time comes. But that's it. I think for wrestling,
Tanaka versus
Masato Tanaka.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. That's definitely one of the shows.
And oh my god, you buried the lead.
Sorry, what is it?
A Heath and Rhino versus Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers.
Oh shit!
What the fuck?
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. As I was saying, WrestleMania weekend always a bit of a treat. So definitely jelly of some of that stuff, because it's so much fun going to like we said, it's like a festival. You can pick and choose of what you want to go. But that's hilarious. We're so old that Heath and Rhino is like a
nostalgia act.
The nostalgia act, dude.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's a run back of when
Headbangers.
Remember they showed up.
But I do have some that weird SmackDown run. It was the same tournament that Heath and Rhino won the tag titles.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's why they're doing this match. That's so
long-term storytelling right there. Yeah.
See, there's room for everything, for everyone in the world of wrestling. But well, there you go. That's everything that's going on in the world of wrestling, at least according to us. We won't be back for a little while, but you can catch myself doing some Up Next the next few weeks, as well as a Stand and Deliver show and a few more things I'm sure up our sleeves here at Poisonrana. But as always, check us out on the socials. We're on Facebook. We also have a group you can find and join and post things in. We have Twitter, Instagram, where we post a lot of stuff. And of course, we keep it powered at patreon.com/Poisonrana. It is $5 a month to get hundreds of different podcasts out there that we do. And if you're in the Toronto area and you're excited about WrestleMania, well, come hang out and watch it with the BDE. We are doing a watch party both Saturday and Sunday, April 18th and 19th, national at the Well, downtown Toronto. We're going to have the big screens with the wrestling and some games and raffles and some sick prizes. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we would love to see you. So anyone in the Toronto area, or maybe Vegas is too expensive for you, just fly to Toronto. If you're in America, like flying to Canada right now, you'd live like a king with.
Man, I hear price of fuel is just fantastic these days. So yeah, get your cheap flights while you can.
I'm also hearing TSA agents are also having a lot of fun lately at the airports, seeing some of these lines. I hope you're all right on Monday. Those lines look fucking crazy, but it looks like it's mostly the States. That's because their government is always shut down or something.
They often have one person working. I arrived at Newark once, and there's like 3 full flights just arrived.
Yeah,
and there's like 8 people working, ushering the line with one person checking passports. I was like, "How this makes zero sense to me."
Yeah. Well,
greatest country on Earth, right?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Well, we're gonna throw the best WrestleMania party on Earth in about a month's time, so we would love to see you there. Poisonrana.ca for tickets to that and to links of everything else that we do. But that is it for us today. We're gonna go try to catch some wrestling and have a few brewskis. But appreciate everyone out there listening. Again, follow for everything that we do. I'll update you with shows coming up in the near future. But this Tuesday, catch me on Up Next and that's it for you for a little while.
That is, yes.
So adios.
I'll be back around Dynasty time. So I'll be chatting to you all about Dynasty, the build to WrestleMania and all that. But Braden will be holding down the fort while I'm away.
Yes, we're going to try to do some sort of snap ranas in Vancouver, potentially Mystery Wrestling. And then we hopefully will be at the AEW press conference afterwards. And maybe we will get some questions in for TK. But at some point, we'll try to give our quick thoughts on podcast form on Dynasty as well. So have fun on your trip. I'm literally going to see you in like 20 minutes, but that's okay. Everyone else, appreciate. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe, and congratulations to the glasses.
Ahoy!